Well, there's a development that happened regarding the Tory Lanez case, right? And Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, and a congresswoman got involved. But before we play that, I'm going to play a video footage that was released by TMZ, right? I believe it's already in the circuit already. So I'm going to play it right now, and then you guys can take a look at it. Look like she's naked. So as you guys can see, that they have this going on with Tory Lanez now. So I'm going to play another video. I'm going to bring in the video with the Congresswoman speaking. So as you can see, that video was from TMZ, and they show a video showing how in the whole situation with the Megan getting them out of the van because of the shooting that was happening. And because it's such a big case, right, and there's new evidence, we all believe that somebody has tried to take out Tory Lanez because he got stabbed 14 times last week. So let me bring in the video of the Congresswoman talking. This is also from TMZ. And let me pull that up, expand it over here, and then we can get back into that. So let me cue it. All right, expand it. And they're going to be asking her some questions, and she's going to be answering it, all right? This is a congresswoman from Florida, and she is going to be giving her insight. All right, so let me jump in the video. Oh, shucks. Get out. All right.
I actually am friends with Amber Rose, and she had flagged it for me.
From Florida. Why did you take such an interest in this case?
Specifically, how I got involved in this case is I actually am friends with Amber Rose, and she had flagged it for me. And when I actually spoke to the attorneys that are representing Mr. Lanez, they actually presented me with evidence. When I saw the evidence that was brought forward, we're talking about no forensics DNA on the magazine of the pistol, a 0.01 DNA match, which effectively means that he could not have been the shooter, to include there being ring footage footage that really refutes and dispels the testimony that he had basically said dance and then fired the firearm. In addition to that, they're also being missing ballistics fragments from the alleged shot in the foot, as well as medical
shucks.
X-rays. All of this
Sorry,
does
guys. Sorry,
indeed
guys.
show and prove that Mr. Lanez, unfortunately, is being incarcerated and he's an innocent man.
Is this the new evidence that you
Sorry, guys.
had
I
tweeted
made
about?
a big mistake. Let me
this
bring that
ring
back.
video you said there's a ring.
Let me pause that and bring it back. I should have been sharing the video and I pressed the wrong button. So let me bring that back. I apologize about that. Okay. So let me come back here and let me come back here and bring it back. Bring it back just a bit here. And cue her up. Right here. All right. So, like I said, guys, I'm sorry. I should have been sharing the video and I made a mistake and not sharing the video. So let me do that right now. All right.
Specifically, how I got involved in this case is I actually am friends with Amber Rose, and she had flagged it for me. And when I actually spoke to the attorneys that are representing Mr. Lanez, they actually presented me with evidence. When I saw the evidence that was brought forward, we're talking about no forensics DNA on the magazine of the pistol, a 0.01 DNA match, which effectively means that he could not have been the shooter, to include there being ring footage that really refutes and dispels the testimony that he had basically said dance and then fired the firearm. In addition to that, they're also being missing ballistics fragments from the alleged shot in the foot, as well as medical X-rays. All of this does indeed show and prove that Mr. Lanez, unfortunately, is being incarcerated and he's an innocent man.
Is this the new evidence that you had tweeted about? This ring video, you said there's a ring video that will refute?
It was actually brought to my knowledge by the attorneys, and we actually had posted that on one of our X platforms, that there's allegedly ring video footage that refutes the statements and I would say, hearsay comments in court testimony.
Have you seen it, and is it going to be released?
I'm actually actively pushing for the release of that, and there's also an affidavit that the attorneys have actually shown me already that actually came from, we will be presenting that and posting that publicly for everyone to see in the coming days.
All right. So, all right, guys. So with that, I'm going to, let me jump over something here, because I'm kind of going to stop it right there and bring in what they're saying. They also interviewed her on NewsNation, right? So I'm going to bring that in as well. And you guys can hear her response to this interview on NewsNation, right? So let me play that, because this is very interesting, right? Because for a congresswoman to get involved in this means that there is something that took place that was being hidden. And in the previous video that was played last week involving Tory Lanez's father, attorney, and so forth, they're saying that Jesus could be in Tory Lanez's defense, right? Jesus could have been Tory Lanez's attorney. The prosecutor would still have tried and pushed and convicted Tory Lanez regardless. So this now got other people more involved, because Megan's bodyguard said that she heard Kelsey talking to her husband. That's the other person that was in the car, the other female that was in the car, talking to her husband, that he can't stay silent anymore because an innocent man is almost lost his life. And she was telling her husband that she was the one who fired the gun 3 times. Tory grabbed her hand and knocked it, and the gun fell out and went off 2 more times, right, by itself. So now new evidence came out, and it's causing uproar. I know that there's a Diddy case going on, but there's so many cases going on, and this one is an egregious act of injustice regarding Tory Lanez. So let me play what the interview was for NewsNation. Let me go over here. All right.
Lanez, convicted of shooting performer Megan Thee Stallion after a party at the Hollywood Hills home of Kylie Jenner. Here's the story. They're at the party. After the party, they get into an argument. Lanez tells Megan Thee Stallion, dance, and shoots at her feet like a cowboy movie, hits her. Proof? Testimony of Megan Thee Stallion, her friend Kelsey Harris, and DNA evidence on the weapon that convinced jurors to convict. Pretty simple, right? Maybe not. Turns out that DNA, only a 0.01% chance that the DNA is from Lanez. He's always maintained his innocence.
Interesting.
He was sentenced to 10 years, so this is really about the testimony. Lanez, so what happens? So he goes away, recently stabbed 14 times in prison. Many say it was a hit, okay? Because new evidence is about to come out. All right, a little conspiratorial, but he was definitely stabbed. Lanez supporters believe that the media doesn't care because Megan Thee Stallion is represented by Jay-Z's Roc Nation. Now, I could give a damn about Jay-Z or his company. This just wasn't a case on my radar until now. Why? Paulina Luna. She is a representative from Florida. You see her here on a regular basis. She says she's got new evidence, says it wasn't him. And she joins us now. Representative APL, it's good to have you.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be back on. And thanks for taking a look at this case.
No, listen, you tell me to take a look at it, I'll look at it. But why did you look at it? I mean, this isn't your jurisdiction. I don't know you'd have any connection to any of these people.
Yeah, so as you know, we are on oversight and accountability. And so this case was actually initially flagged for me by Amber Rose. And the reason why I took a particular interest in it is because of the fact that they actually had evidence that they presented to me in my office that actually disproved the conviction. So as you stated earlier, that 0.01% of DNA, they actually found 4 people's DNA on that firearm, none of which was Tory's. Not to mention there was 0 fingerprints on the actual magazine. And also, too, as you said, 0.01% chance. I mean, that evidence in itself should pretty much speak for itself. Also, there's been ring footage that's been obtained that actually disproves the whole dance, Megan. And so what we're seeing is really there was a case of he said, she said. The evidence wasn't actually respected and properly adhered to actually in the trial. And then they also were doing something that I would find pretty wild and egregious. They were actually submitting his lyrics for rap as evidence to the crime. So look, first and foremost, you have to have a free and fair society. That means we need to respect and uphold the justice system. So I actually reached out today to Gavin Newsom's office, and we are requesting an emergency meeting. We're also working with other Democrats, specifically to the California delegation. But I think that this is something that's pretty egregious, that the way that this was handled, the way that it was. I think that it was largely driven by headlines. And aside from the people involved and the parties involved. Obviously, I take domestic violence, I take this very seriously, Chris, but I also take very seriously the fact that I do believe, based on the evidence that I've seen, that Tory's innocent. And I think that it sets a really bad message when you have someone of his stature and also to someone that is as influential as he is, that's being wrongfully incarcerated. And that's exactly why we wanted to use our megaphone for a good reason and help get him his pardon, which I think he'll get.
So, Luna, who did it? I mean, she says, and her friends say, that he did it, and who else would have done it, and what proof do you have to support that? I get it. Maybe they didn't make the case the right way with the weapon, but who did it?
You know, Chris, that's not for me to weigh in, and that's definitely for the judge and the jury. But what I will tell you is, based on the evidence that we have, the evidence that we have says that he wasn't the guy. And
of course, she's not going to say who did it, right? Because they know who did it. The evidence point to the other woman in the car, the other female in the car, that she is the one who did it, right? So she can't rightfully come out and said that she absolutely positively know that it's Kelsey that did it, right? The reason being, if she says that, she could be putting herself in hot water as a congresswoman, right? So she has to play it carefully, she has to play it clean, but they know Evidence is there, and a lot of us feel that they try to take this man out while in prison. And the person that that was used is a person that have a life sentence plus, right? So he has nothing to lose. But that's why she can't say it. So let's get back to the video.
So I do think that Gavin Newsom has some great attorneys that will look at this, but I'd also like to point out that the prosecutor specifically on this case that initially brought the charges is a very interesting prosecutor. Look into who ran him. And at the end of the day, you know, I think Hollywood, as you know, Chris, and politics does overlap, and there's a lot of interesting stuff that happened there. So look at the evidence for yourself. We've posted it for the entire world to see, to determine for themselves. And I know that Tory's legal team actually has an incredible case. And so we are calling on Gavin Newsom to issue that pardon immediately. And also remember, he was almost killed in jail. I actually talked to him today on the phone, and he said that once he does get out, once he does get this pardon, which I do feel confident that he'll be getting, he's going to work extensively in prison reform, because this should never happen to anyone.
Anna Paulina Luna, this is a really interesting one. I've never covered a situation like this before, but I appreciate you using your platform, and let the legal team know. We'll be reaching out if they want to come on to make the case. I'm happy to hear it, and we'll check in with the governor's office as well. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah. Of course. And Chris, too, if you want, we can probably connect you with his dad as well. I think it's important for people to know all the facts.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'll check in with you right after the show. Thank